excited for this morning and for this topic. This topic is very, very special and dear to me, just because many people have different interpretation of what ritual is, and whatever we're going to talk about today is based on my own experience. Also, I'm backing it up as well with some research. There's a space for everyone to go in depth with the research to see the science behind ritual, and also for all of us to connect and share about each other's understanding. So thank you for making me here, and yeah, let's begin. So I don't know if for some of you who might not know, everything I do in my retreats or in my sessions, I like to use the idea of activating the senses. I don't know if you noticed, but we use the bukhur, the sense of, to activate the sense of smell, and this is a ritual we actually have in our culture. So just keep in mind that everything we do today, there is a meaning and there is a story behind it. So there's a piece of paper and a pen in front of you. I would like to start with some moment of reflection. So get ready to write what is it that you do every day that makes you a better person. Think about it, and we have time. Yes, so what is it that you do every single day that makes you a better person? And we have time, so don't overthink it, but whatever comes to your head, just put it on that piece of paper. So we're gonna dedicate, let's say, 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'm gonna use a bell to just say, let's move to the next one. بالعربي ايش الشيء اللي تسويه كل يوم ويخليك شخص افضل؟ شخص افضل, feeling better every single day. And it's okay if nothing comes up. So it's totally fine if you feel, oh, I can't actually find an answer because I haven't thought of it, or I'm not doing anything specific every single day. That's also totally fine. As long as you're real and you're answering from a real place, this is what you want. Yeah? So let's have another maybe 2 minutes. Yeah? To share. Yes. Hi everyone, the things that I do every day to be a better person is gratitude and read deeply, listen deeply to friends and family, smile, obviously, and be an early bird to catch the day. Okay, thank you for sharing. So there's no right or wrong, yeah? Thank you for sharing. Anybody else wants to share?
name is Sada. I like to move my body daily, and I love going out and walking around for hours, 2 4 hours, in big open places. Gratitude, filling my body with nutritious food, and reading.
Reading. Okay. Thank you for sharing. You would talk maybe 2 or 3 more?
Hello, my name is Islam. The best thing that made me feel really great once I wake up is organize my head. It really gives me a great feeling. Perfect. Very then I decided to use in my eyes, especially. It's so relaxing. It helps me to feel well for the rest of the day. I really like to sense like the results of this. I'm relaxed and I'm thinking straight and less to problem, not really for the rest of the day. And I'm so relaxed. عايز المايكروفون عايز صوت عايز تقول الاول ايوه
Okay, I look for the sunlight. I look for the sunlight. It seems like a refreshing feeling, and it makes you more active. It gives you like you come up with new thoughts to help you like to be productive for the rest of the day. Help me. Yeah, it helped me. Yeah. So yeah, that's my top 3 things.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to share? We can stay all night long and share, but maybe one more person and then we can move forward.
Good morning, my name is Sarah. One thing that I usually do every day that improves me as a person is switching my phone for at least 1 hour per day, just to clear the mind of people, at least just during this hour.
Thank you. في أحد خاطر شيء ويطلعه؟ I know like this part of the talk is done for now. The sharing we can share after. Does anyone wants to share for now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. أهم شيء ما نخلي شيء في خاطر.
Hi, morning. It's one of the things I wrote was just saying one thing, it's quality time. You have to dedicate a portion of your day for quality time for people you love, because we take it for granted. You have to catch the moments, make little joys, and laugh, like really try to laugh with people you love.
Thank you. Okay, so I would like to share. Okay, sure. One last sharing.
Hi everyone, I'm Sinab Belahid. I just want to say that down here is my little sister, and I just want to say that I'm really proud of you. That you find a way to entertain yourself, and stay true to yourself always. I actually haven't done that since long ago, but I do it now.
Yes, spread some love. I would like to share about, my definition of ritual and my experience with ritual. If I would think just a little bit of how I would define ritual, which is a repetitive action that is done every single day, very intuitive, فيها presence, فيها حضور. And also one important thing اللي أحب to highlight it مليون خط تحته, which is it's not one size fits all. My ritual today serves me in the circumstances I'm in right now. My ritual 4 years ago served me at that period. This doesn't mean I need to stick with it forever. So I'd like to maybe elaborate a little bit on that one by sharing a personal story that I went through maybe 3 years ago. So since I got into the wellness world, and when I got into the wellness world, I did not get into, let's say, it started with I've always been a runner, but being into the yoga world, it did not start random. I woke up one day and I'm like, oh, okay, let's do yoga. It wasn't like that. For me, when it started, it came from a place, I started from a place of frustration and anger, and actually, كنت مرة معصبة. So upset. Everything in my life was falling apart, and I'm like, okay, yoga was not the solution per se, but it was an opportunity for me to explore كل الchances where I could move in Riyadh. I was living abroad, بعدين رجعت السعودية, and I'm like, oh, so I can't hike, I can't do this, I can't do that. And this is where I started to literally write on a piece of paper what are the things I could do to make me a better person, and also to reduce problems as well around me. Part of it is yoga, tennis, rock climbing, hiking. And I remember back then, I think I was maybe one of the rare Saudis that joined expats communities, because back then in 2014, the people who were living the life in Saudi were the expats. They are the ones who knew the insides out of the best places to hike, the best places to run, unfortunately, but that was the case during my time. I got into yoga, and wow, immediately, without noticing, I started to shift not just from, when I started it, the purpose to start yoga was to complement my routine, my sports routine, because I also do functional training and CrossFit and all that since a while, and I figured I want to do yoga first because it complements what I do from a fitness movement, and also to build community. I was thirsty for community because I came back to Saudi and it was alien to me. Everyone around me, my friends, I did not relate to. What they cared about, I did not care about it too. I came back, my friends, all they talked about was fashion and updated brands and shoes and purses and Botox and I don't know what. Yes, it's okay, we care about these things, but that was not part of my interest whatsoever. This is how I started to explore tennis, yoga, etc., etc. So when I started to practice yoga, I started to notice that it had an effect on me, not just on a physical level, in terms of flexibility, generally, physical appearance as well. Part of it was I started to shift slowly and in a very subtle way about how I deal with my emotions. I started to become much calmer, etc. So I started to love the practice. And when I got into the practice, I was like, you know what? I'm going to practice an hour every single day. 1 hour. That is my ritual. 1 hour, 1 hour. جواد لو يصير زلزال في الأرض والله لأقل من 1 hour من تحت الأرض to do it. Guess what? I started to do that for so many years. Just trying my best to dedicate that 1 hour to do the practice. For some of you, as the team just said while introducing me, I used to work in one of the big 4 companies in consulting, in strategy for the government public sector, and do you know what that means? No life. Really no life. Wake up 9 a.m. At some point, one of the projects I handled, we wake up 9 a.m., we finish the project 9 a.m. the day after. Like we go to the hotel, and people leave the hotel feeling fresh and wearing their uniforms and suits, like the zombies that we sleep 2 hours. It was really, really challenging. Now, because I was so strict with this ritual that I had, and I really connected this ritual of my 1 hour practice to my happiness, and I was strict about it, super rigid about it, not looking at the environment that I was in, the circumstances I was in. At some point, things went down, really, really went down. In that specific period, when I was on this project, I went with some friends, to the desert. It was a beautiful winter time. ويلا نروح البر ونركب دبابات. For the first time, I ride a bike with 2 people in one, which is could never do that. It's like illegal to ride دباب على 3 أشخاص. That was wrong. No protection, no helmet. It was fully my mistake for sure. Anyways, fast forward, I had a major accident where I broke 7 ribs and dislocated my thumb. And that was really traumatizing. I can tell you, and I can swear to God, this is the first experience that I can call hit rock bottom for real. Questioning my identity, why I exist, why I'm passionate about yoga, all of the years that I spent building my knowledge and practice in yoga. I'm like, what? I can't move. I can't do my morning routine, my 1 hour. Oh, I can't teach as well. And that it was really, really hard. This is the first time actually I, connect with a life coach to help me mentally. Because my problem was not the idea that I cannot, صار لي حادث. No, actually the idea, when I first had the accident, the first thing I said to my doctor, the doctor came the day after, because obviously I slept in the hospital for a couple of months. The first thing I said, when can I go back to yoga? When can I go back to teaching? But I don't want to go into the details of the accident, but the details also make all the difference. But I'm going to skip that. Maybe we can talk about it later. And he was like, do you understand that you are a miracle for surviving this accident من غير تشويه, without scars in your face, without bleeding? Do you understand that you are a miracle? And this is the first thing he said, I want to go back to the movement, because I really built it as a ritual. It made me, it's a routine, it's repetitive. زي التعريف اللي قلته قبل شوية. It's a routine, requires movement, فيها repetition, and it's done every single day, and it made me a better person. So it actually ticked the box of my definition of ritual. But guess what? In the ultimate hit rock bottom, it did not really serve me. I had to go through therapy to realize the idea that I cannot practice my ritual and I can't teach. Now fast forward, with the support of mental health support, of course, and life coaching, what I learned is that the idea is to always keep an open mind. So this is like my pledge to myself, is to always keep an open mind. Also the idea also to be very human within myself and understanding of my environment and my surrounding. For example, let's put it that way, but I took leave to recover, unpaid leave, and I took time, in addition to the sick leave, to recover mentally and physically. When I got back to work, this is where things started to shift inside of me, my beliefs, that also helped to improve my performance even at work. So I said, you know what, okay Ghalia, you like this ritual, it makes you a better person, but it doesn't serve you in these circumstances that you're in. So I decided to design a practice that I do every single day. يتراوح وقته a flexible. This is, I repeat it, flexible. And I designed this routine where I do from 6 minutes up to 10 minutes of body movement. There's no excuse for me to not do it now. 6 minutes, إذا جاء يوم I wasn't able to do this practice in 6 minutes, I summarize it in 3 minutes. The most important thing for me to maintain that ritual is to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. That it's really coming from a good place, from a real place, that I really want to be better, not necessarily achieve a certain level of thing. When I did it for 1 hour, to me my intention was different than my intention when I shifted it to 6 minutes. My life changed completely. And try to think just a little bit about the subliminal meaning of this 6-minute practice. المعنى اللي أنا عم ترجمه, what I interpret, we need to be human with ourselves. Yeah, we always try to achieve in our normal lives expectations from others, sometimes expectations within ourselves. But the idea, ritual to have it as part of our practice and to have it make us better people, we need to be very understanding of our environment, so we're able to be flexible to change this practice to fit our environment so that it's sustained and it continues, it doesn't stop. ما يصير موضة, ما يصير ترند. أنا اليوم بديت أسوي رحت الجيم. Oh, perfect. 2 months after, right after summer, نروح نسافر السمر, we have the beach body, نرجع بعد السمر ويلا تخبيص. That's not a ritual, yeah? So I wanted to share this experience. The point of it is to connect my definition of ritual to a personal story, يعلمني to redefine what ritual is. So I can say now, I repeat my definition, it's a repetitive action. Even when it's connected to body movement, it has also much bigger effect that makes me a better person, and also it's not one size fits all. ما أتعلق بفكرة إنه أنا بسوي ذا ritual till I die forever. وما في طريقة اللي هو. This is what I came to conclusion to, and this is what made me really sustain. And I can tell you from now, I still work in a very high demanding organization other than yoga teaching in a proper government entity. And I can tell you, very demanding. We rarely sleep early, and like all the consequences of being in a very high demanding culture. But I can tell you the idea of being flexible and bringing in this ritual that makes me a better person, having it flexible, really served me in different environments. And it really makes me, it creates like a sheet for me to say, you know what, bring it on. أصحى من النوم, like bring it on. So for example, الحين أنا some month, 6 minutes to do the body movement. I'm not going to call it yoga. 6 movements. واحدة من المرات مثلا I oversleep. وما يمديني أسوي 6 movements. What I do, guys, and don't laugh, I literally take a shower and just jump. Jump, 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 and just shake my body, make the heart race fast, full energy, and I start with my day, and with being convinced that I'm ready for the day. I want to share also something a bit scientific. There's a doctor, he's a neuroscientist. His name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can write his name. He has beautiful, very informative YouTube. He has books. One book called Becoming Supernatural. He's amazing. This book is great, and also has a lot of YouTube videos. Dr. Joe Dispenza. This guy, why I appreciate Dr. Joe Dispenza so much, because he connects what we learn in meditation and spirituality with neuroscience. So you see his outputs and his research is purely tangible, measurable. He shares a very interesting story. You can also find it on YouTube. He shares a very interesting story about himself. One time he was cycling. He was part of a cycling marathon, and on a turn, he got a very severe accident that the hospital told him either تتنوم في المستشفى, like you're going to stay in the hospital till you recover, or you might take some time for you to build your own strength. But he went through certain support from the hospital, but then he decided to go back home and dedicated 12 hours every single day of meditation. And meditation, for some of you who might not be familiar with meditation, it's a whole science that can be proved scientifically on the effect of it, but this is a whole another topic now. He dedicated 12 hours a day for around 16 weeks of certain practices in meditation. Part of it is visualization, part of it is gratitude, and you can find online, when you look at the impact of these two to reprogram the mind and to create a new reality, you'll find a lot of resources. استمر على هذا الرitual for 16 weeks, 12 hours on just imagining and visualizing, and a lot of, it's like a form of prayer, but in his own way, until he was able to find his strength and become healthy, and this is who he is now. So he proves that the mind has the power to create our own reality through bringing meaning into our practice. مع فارق التشبيه, but I feel there is a connection here. احنا نتعلم في الإسلام. In any religion, there is a practice that is done on a daily basis, right? there's a bit, we can all agree, and please raise your hand if you agree, and don't raise your hand if you don't agree. We're real here, we're not going to pretend. The way we approach our prayer, when it's just, when we approach our prayer, salah, when we approach it as a way to tick the box, versus slowing down, نقرأ الآية بشويش، الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. You actually feel goosebumps. It changes the way you approach a salah completely differently. Now, I don't want to really focus this talk about religion at all. I want to talk in a way that relates to everyone, the believer and the non-believer. But what I'm trying to say, that ritual is not just the repetition of a behavior that makes us feel better. Because ممكن واحد ثاني يقول لي okay, I actually like to drink my coffee every single day. أول ما أصحى من النوم كذا، أول ما أصحى كذا وعيني مغمضة، أول شيء أشربه. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm sure it makes you a better person, feeling better, of course. You know? Someone ممكن يقول actually أنا أول ما أصحى وصدق, I know people, the first thing they do is they smoke a cigarette and they drink their coffee. It's the first thing. I'm like, no, they can promise. They say, oh, actually, wallahi, I think it makes me a better person. Ma, you don't want to see me if I don't have my coffee. I'm like, no. But it's a ritual. But this is, this is the purpose of this discussion, right? There's a personal experience, there's science and data, but there's also common sense that we'd like you to شوية think with me, reflect معاي. I'm going to open the chat later for sharing. الحين لو أنا أختار I smoke a cigarette every day أول ما أصحى وأشرب الكافي. أنا an invitation for me to improve this practice. إنه أنا أسمي هذا ritual. It makes me good, feel good. What I would do after this conversation is to do some research to understand the impact or the effect of having coffee on a dehydrated body. Because إحنا نايمين, we're asleep for like 12 hours, 9 hours. إحنا كنا نايمين صح? The body when we're asleep is dehydrated. ما في موية. And coffee is dehydrating and acidic. So if I don't know how the scientific fact, I would really live for the rest of my life drinking coffee every single day and believing I'm a better person. Because actually, if you do research and you understand that drinking coffee أول ما تصحى من النوم, it's the worst thing to your body. Because جسمك عطشان, ولما الجسم يكون عطشان ونعطشه زيادة, يبدأ يسوي inflammation to the system. يبدأ يأثر في the digestive system. I know some people who do, no, actually I go to the restroom after I have coffee. Yeah, of course. But then watch the impact to which day later when you're done from drinking your coffee. So what I'm trying to say is, I know you just shared on that ritual that you do every single day. And for some of you who haven't shared, think about it. If you know that the ritual that you're doing makes you a better person, do you know why it makes you a better person? Why? هذا هو اللي نبغى شوية نطلع. هذا الهدية حقت اليوم. This is what we want to take in our pocket and actually think about. عشان هي الفكرة من هذا كله، guys. إيش الفكرة من هذا كله اللي قاعدين نسويه؟ To improve the quality of our lives. نزيد ليفل الوعي حقنا عشان نقدر نمارس حياتنا بطريقة أفضل. These are secrets, guys. Only the ones who are conscious and aware and the passionate and the inspired who will crack this code of life. الناس اللي ممكن نايمين الحين ولا I don't know what they're doing, they're missing out on actually a piece of information or a discussion that may inspire. So whatever we know and whatever we do, even if it makes us a better person, it's good to think about another layer, another question. But why? Do I know really why? Well, هل أروح أبحث أسوي homework if I eat my burger, إذا أكل my yummiest burger الساعة 11 الليل قبل لا أنام, literally قبل لا أنام, and it makes me a better person. Do you really know that actually it is supposed to make you a better person? Do we know? We don't know. So don't call things a ritual عشان بس it's repetition. It's actually يحتاج شوية a little bit of effort. وأوعدكم الeffort اللي ممكن نسويه to know more ما ياخذ ولا 10 دقائق. Thank God for technology. وبعد في chat GPT الحين even better. يسرع لك المعلومة. To find the simple answer, you can ask chat GPT. I do this part of my everyday ritual. And it's funny, but people do that. Don't you guys do that? Chat GPT for fast research results. Yeah, so I want to also share something very interesting I found when I was preparing for this talk, which is there's this psychologist, اسمه Nick Hobson. Nick Hobson, you can search online about his research on ritual. His research proved that including rituals, rituals are effective in battling negativity. Think about it short. So معناته, if I'm drinking coffee أول ما أصحى من النوم, does it really combat or help reducing negativity? Talk to someone who just finished their first cup of coffee. We استنوا the second cup of coffee. يا ويلي, معصب, they're angry. They're definitely, it definitely doesn't make us a better people, a better person, right? Also, Nick Hobson says that predictability breeds happiness. Think about it just a little bit. Let's show you. Predictability breeds happiness. فهو يقول لك why rituals makes us feel better generally. Because when we do a ritual, the act of ritual gives signal to the brain that everything is as it's supposed to be, as it should. It makes us feel safer and feeling at home. And كل شيء تحت السيطرة وزي ما هو المفروض. هذه it's a scientific research outcome. He also added that our brains generally, throughout humanity, our brain evolved to help us survive in a world full of uncertainty and danger and threat by assessing and identifying risks to protect our safety. So rituals, introducing rituals من عمر الحضارات or the early age of humanity, introducing rituals is a way of feeling safe, of making sure that, oh yeah, everything is going good. Some people can't حوالي قاعد يصير ولا hurricane, maintaining that ritual, it makes me centered, makes me balanced, etc. Also, Nick Hobson, he did an experiment where he had two groups of people. One group were asked to perform a ritual that combines repetitive movement for a week, who observed their behavior. And then another group did not do anything. طبعا هو, he said the way he's going to measure a difference between the experience of each group is through something called ERN. ERN is a sense in the brain that is caused and triggered by the way we respond to stress and threat. And he noticed through this experiment that الناس اللي they did the ritual for a selected number of days, repetitive, the same ritual, لاحظ انه ال ERN, which is it's called I'll get back to you on that. He noticed that this element in our brain that is connected to stress started to go down as a result of practicing the ritual. This tells you طبعا الجروب الثاني اللي did not do the ritual, he observed no change at all in their stress level, no change. It doesn't mean if we don't do rituals, حياتنا will end. But there's a difference when we introduce a ritual that is conscious and aware and with full presence, full حضور نسوي ritual. There's a difference, yeah? And versus not doing. A thin line that one makes us a better people, improve the quality of our lives, and then the other one, mediocre living, just really mediocre. I'll let this sink in for a bit. This is what I have to share with you today. I hope something resonates or a spark, ignited out of this conversation. Before we start with the Q&A, I would like us to dedicate 1 minute of silence. Just 1 minute. You want to close the eyes, that is true. I know it might feel awkward for some people. If you don't want to close the eyes, you can look at whatever and just stay for 1 minute to reflect. Why I'm doing that is because sometimes when we start the Q&As, also people يندفعوا في الكلام. أحيانا يكون الناس تبغى تتكلم بس تتكلم. But I would like you to really slow down and practice this 1 moment of stillness and see what question you want to ask and why do you want to ask this. مو قصدي أصعب الحياة يعني، بس it's good to know why we do what we do. And بس تخلص هذه الدقيقة I will play this teeny tiny instrument. It's the sound of a bell. And then after this sound, we can start with the Q&A. Pass the mic, the floor is yours. Anyone who would like to ask a question or comment or a question, we're here.
Rituals is a way to reach oneness. What is the definition of oneness to you?
The definition of wellness or well-being, they're both used for the same purpose, is it's a path or a door that helps me navigate difficult times in daily lives. So anything that I do relates that له دخل wellness or well-being. The purpose of it helps me to navigate moments الصعبة اللي أمر فيها, and also another layer is to help me improve the quality of my life. I hope I answered your questions.
Assalamu alaikum جميعا. Thank you so much for the inspiring words. زي ما قالت الأخت إنه to reach wellness أو to reach quality of life we need to have a ritual. السؤال هنا كيف الشخص يعرف الريتشوال اللي تناسبه علشان أنا أقدر أوصل للانتهاء، يعني أوصل للبيس اوف مايند، أوصل للونس. يعني I see a lot of people doing different rituals, but we have Shiraya and it makes me stressed out.
Yes. Very excellent question. I think this connects to my story, when I started my wellness journey or well-being path, as I said, I started it from a place of frustration. I was living abroad, بعدين رجعت, and everything here felt like alien to me, صراحة. My environment, how things were rolling, and so بدأ from a place of frustration. I was angry, I was lost, I did not have sense of community, did not belong to my own people that I had in my life and was connected to once upon a time before I traveled abroad. And it started for me personally by exploring. زي ما قلت قبل شوية, literally at some point من كثر frustration صرت I really cause problems and stress to, for example, أنا عايشة مع أهلي, I started to cause stress and tension within my family. أنا من المدينة, my mom from Riyadh, you understand the cultural differences. ماما مثلا كانت تقول لي, الوالدة تقول لي ما عندي بناتي عبايتهم على كتفهم every single day, ما عندي بنات يطلعون كل يوم, ما عندي بنات يسافرون, أي شيء عشتيه في أمريكا ما راح تعيشيه الحين after living abroad. So I was really under tremendous pressure, and the only way where I could figure out what is it that I can do is by starting to explore. Literally, والله حقيقي, literally this is what happened. مسكت ورقة وقلم, a sheet of paper, and I wrote what are the things that I could do to get me out of trouble. Because I started to أروح عند الوالدة, ليه طبيب؟ ليش يعني؟ طب أنا عشت فريق, ليش ما تبيني أطلع كل يوم؟ ليش ما؟ ويعني with my mom from Riyadh كمان ما اسمها ليش؟ قاعد أقول لك أنت بنت وأنا أمك وانتهى. It felt like I'm hitting a wall with the circumstances I'm in. I had a sheet of paper and I said, okay, what are the things I could do to, what do I need? وقتها I need to get out of trouble. أحتاج frustration حقي يطلع مكان ثاني غير confrontation that I'm doing because it's not getting me anywhere. Yeah? And another thing, I asked myself, what is it that I need? I needed community. Come on. And I also, what is it that I like, that I'm missing here, that I enjoyed there, for example. أنا كنت يعني hiking was one of the hiking يعني literally إن شاء الله أروح BQ literally وأمشي. That was a hike for me. So it doesn't mean I need to go to a mountain. فسألت نفسي إيش الأشياء اللي أنا makes me feel good. movement, وكان ناقصني sense of community, وكان عندي غضب كثير and I needed to release that. This is what I started to just reflect a little bit. بعدين قلت في الورقة وقلم hiking, rock climbing, tennis, yoga. حقيقي كتبت أشياء ولا توقعت في العالم كله إني أعمل. I didn't think because all of these were not my interest. Believe it or not, when I lived in the States, اليوغا على قفا من يشيله ببلاش, وعلى البحر, وعلى البارك, وعلى whatever. يعني كان abundance of opportunities. ولا مرة رحت class yoga in the States, never. Never, I was just a runner. That's all I did. When I got back, this is where كيف دخلت فيه, it's out of curiosity. فلما كتبت ورقة وقلم صرت أروح literally I Google وقتها ما كان في لا studios ولا مسارات ولا فانجيا ولا community ولا ما في ولا شيء. This is where I started to join expats. كان في running كان في رياض road runners, if you know them. I think they still do these gatherings every 2 Fridays 7 الصباح, كله أجانب, كله non-Saudis, وأنا الوحيدة السعودية أركض. وهم they're all so professional in their running. يعني they had their numbers, athletes, وعندهم their best way of their running, وأنا آخر واحدة وألهث وما أعرف ليش قاعدة ألهث وأنا شلون هذول. فكذا قعدت I tried to really explore without judging myself or blocking my mind that this is for me, not for me. خلاص that's I'm on a mission now, you know, I'm going to do it, I'm going to explore. Until, صراحة, by default, it started to feel good. Yoga started to feel good. لقيت نفسي بديت أهدى gradually. So yoga might not be good for you, maybe, suitable for you. It doesn't mean yoga is the right thing for everyone. That's what I'm trying to say. So to answer your question, keep an open mind and reflect a little bit عشان ما يصير we approach it from like an automated point of view. يلا بجرب كده. No, just stop, ask yourself, and then explore. Yeah? Thank you. Sorry على تطويلة الجواب. This means so much.
I have a personal story, but then a follow-up question on your story. I had a similar accident, unfortunately, a severe accident when I fractured my right shoulder. وبعدها جلست شهر ونص unable to do anything else. It was a deep depression state. For staying in Latvia. You touched upon that, and you touched upon how you came out of that. Can you perhaps go deeper on الفترة التغيير اللي حصل الشفت اللي جواك اللي خلاك تعمل حالة الحزن هذا او الاكزيستنشال كرايسيس اللي دخلت فيه وخلاك تكمل معك؟
حاجة بعد استكان شاهي
لا
تكي كذا ويلا. I'll try my best to answer. This is a very صراحة this is one of the most profound hit rock bottom that I experienced in my whole life. In my whole life. It's the first one that I'm actually, whoa, like, oof, that was intense. Because movement, that ritual that I built for like longest time, for years, and I transacted this 1 hour ritual. No matter where I worked and what project I handled at the Big Four company in consulting, كان project based. تيجي مشاريع نشوف الجحيم، تيجي مشاريع والله ما شفنا so easy. It was always challenging. So when this was taken out, wait, also one thing to recruit. On that specific year, I was up for a promotion. And in Big Four company, I don't know if you know, because in Big Four consulting companies, when you're up for a promotion, you compete with the Middle East. يعني ما في شيء by default إن أنا والله بقعد في شركة كل سنتين يجيني promotion by default. It doesn't work like this in consulting. In consulting, if you say I want promotion, يقول لك okay, امسك التشالنج، امسك المشروع اللي كل أفريقيا قاعدين يهربوا منه، ويلا أتحداك So I was in an environment that I had an ambition that I wanted to achieve, so attached to my ritual, which is 1 hour, وماني لاقي space for rest, and so هذا كله انشال مني. جاء حادث معناته أنا حوقف، ما حروح، ما حكمل شغلي في البروجكت. I'm up for a promotion. يا ويلي يعني ما حيجيني promotion؟ What do you mean? I can't teach yoga. What do you mean? I can't move. What do you mean? To be honest, I had a phase where I was in the night. I'm a social being. I like to be around people and I like to host and all that. Suddenly, the traits اللي أنا متعودة عليها والصفات اللي أنا متعودة عليها واللي حولي, the people around me متعودين عليها, vanished. خلاص صرت كل يوم وجهي pale. My family, my parents, they look into my eyes. غالية وينك؟ خلاص they see faces, they don't see soul. Also, one thing that something very personal about me, زمان. أنا كبرت in a family where I'm being وأنا صغيرة كأنه بابا جهزني to be a leader. أنت عندك 50 ريال 30 خبيها أصلا في 20 عشان ما تدرين أنت كيف تحتاجين فلوس بعدين يمكن أخوك يحتاجه. ترى أنت problem solver أنت فأنا متعودة إني I don't ask for help. That's what I'm trying to say. Always putting the weight of everyone on my shoulder. How did I cope with it? To answer your question. I sat with being in denial for 3 months. I almost went crazy, honestly. And this is where I attended one session of sound bath. صراحة يعني I attended a session with someone. And طبعا I used to cry. من أول ما صار الحادث إلين 3 شهور مستحيل أبكي. وجهي كذا no way. I'm not gonna cry. When I attended this session, without صراحة نية يعني, I started to burst into tears, and this is where someone came to me and said, Ghalia, you just need to speak to someone that is not your family, not your parent, not your someone you really don't know. And when I started to do this life coaching session, that was like a turning point. هنا عرفتني على فكرة you need to know why you do what you do. انت زعلانة انه that 1 hour that you used to do is taken away from you, but guess what? She sat with me, فصفصت لي, she unlayered why I did what I did and why I'm frustrated. إلين ما بين معاه في الأخير after months of discussion that when I was doing that 1 hour practice was not coming from a real place. It was coming from a place in I'm achieving. أنا كنت في achievement mode. Yes, 1 hour I'm achieving. زي إن نفس فكرة الصلاة. أنا صليت الحمد لله خلاص أنا صليت معاك. That's the idea of achieving. But when it was taken away from me, ما خدمني. The point of rituals إنه يخدمني حتى في الأوقات الصعبة. this is where I realized I had to change things around. So to answer your question specifically, when I was helpless and decided to accept help, that required a lot of inside mental work and readiness to be open to receive help. But then this is where I started to welcome new perspectives. Yeah? Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to answer or, sorry, ask a question? Or share a personal story also.
Assalamu alaikum wa sabah al-khair. Ghalia, thank you so much. And I always find it fascinating when people share their personal stories, whether they come from a very hardship or they discovered and explored something and shared with other people. Thank you so much. My question comes from rituals that we are not aware of. We just do random things, but they're not random. And years later you discover that either you acquired skills, minha the rituals, and when I say rituals, it could be how you wake up in the morning, where do you go the first thing, and then the second thing, these could be also part of your rituals. So how do you deal with that, and is that considered a ritual?
Can you repeat the first part of the question, Shreya?
Okay, the things that we do that are repetitive, but help us actually, but we're not aware of it, that they are rituals. And years later you discover that أنا لو ما أمشي وأحرك المشهد مثلا بالطريقة هذه طبعا that's not me. إذا ما حطيتها هنا، إذا ما سويت كذا, things are not going to go well because of that ritual. Actually, in the opposite side, things go well without doing these things. So, do we need these rituals from time to time?
Okay.
Well, sometimes random can work with you.
Okay, very good question. I need to think about that actually. I think either we choose to operate our daily lives without a moment of reflection. ترى في كثير ناس قاعدين يعيشوا حياتهم كده automation وعايشين عادي, you know, it's fine. I think the determining factor of another layer of improving the quality of life, guys. احنا كنا بنقول that improving quality of life is like, this is me operating on a daily basis, like automation, you know, احط الفوطة, I feel good بس ما ادري ليش I'm feeling good, واسوي شيء ثاني not knowing. But then now I choose to, which is this is our pledge today, is to نمسك نظارة جديدة لونها مختلف and to say, oh, okay, why do I do what I do? مو معناته انه والله بقعد افكر ليش احط الفوطة وليش اسوي السرير. It's not, the idea is not to complicate things. But if this is taken away from you, how would you feel? That's one. Does it actually really make you feel better as in there's an added value, or is it just about ticking the box? Tara, fi thin line. What we're talking here is very subtle, Tara. It's thin line. If you're not able to see it, it's okay, you can survive. It doesn't make us die, we can still live. But there's thin line of knowing why we do what we do. أنا ممكن كل يوم أعلق المنشفة, I hang my towel every single day in that specific way, لدرجة even a tag is down, not up. مثلا, let's say it can go that extent, right? Some people they can't. Now, you could call this a ritual because it's a repetition and it makes you feel better. But if you don't think a little bit, بس كده another layer of depth in the thinking, you might realize that this can be an obsession. An obsession can be harmful. So it's a thin line. Did I answer your question?
You did, yes. Why I asked this is I noticed around me, I'm a very random person, so I would put the towel in different places every day, and I'm okay with that. But the time I discovered why these people do that and why I do these things, and when I personally stopped randomly putting things in places, it created more space for me to discover more potential in so many things, whether it was ritual or time management. Come on. But sometimes the things that we do randomly become waste of time. Actually are wasting time because we did not pause, notice that we're just doing these things because they became ritual. I like to add to know they're repetitive, because some of the rituals are actually because of repetitive actions that we do. But when we stop after 10, 20 years, we're like, I don't need to do this. It's not important, it's not part of my life, and it's not part of my new identity that I have changed throughout the 10 or 20 years.
Ya salam alayk. Honestly, this summarizes the whole talk. What we're trying to say here, thank you for putting it in a very beautiful, very clear conclusion. It's not one size fits all. لو نبعد نعامل الرitual so strict, like we apply it in our daily lives, just like how we add pressure to ourselves and others, wallahi ma حيخدمنا. We cannot stick to one, and if it's taken away from us, we collapse. We need to be adaptable. We need to be flexible. It's what we're used to 1 hour. If أنا الحين في project very intense and it requires more time, more attention, it's okay to modify and change as long as I know why I'm modifying it and why I'm doing it. إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. لو ما نتفكر ليش إحنا نسوي الشيء why we do it, it has no meaning. Everything. لو إحنا الحين عندنا في الكلتشر حقنا guys فكروا فيها. في الكلتشر حقنا في طقوس نسويها by default بس فكروا فيها ترى it has so much meaning. الحين لما وقت الأعراس وقت الجمعات in our weddings or when we host gatherings, when our parents host gatherings, what do? بيحطوا بخور. This is why حطينا بخور. Why? قد فكرتوا ليش احنا نحط actually قد سألتوا طب think about it. بالله عليكم think about it. Okay, some of you said that. Some of you just now said ما أعرف صح? Okay. So this is the thin line we're talking about. When you know from this ritual why you're doing it, it's much bigger impact than you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. صار متعارف عليه أن البخور is a way to welcome. In other ثقافات, by the way, in Asia, when they do the incense sticks, in meditation, the purpose حقه مختلف تماما مع تشابه بينهم. In Asia, in other culture, when they do the incense sticks, especially in meditation, they use it as a way to give signal to the brain that they're entering a new space. So when they enter a new space, it helps the mind to focus in the meditation. So that's a different meaning, but it serves a purpose that is good for that purpose. في البخور نفس الشيء. حتى البخور واحنا طالعين نفس الشيء as a way to say goodbye. So there is a meaning to it. I know it might be significant, طب وإيش يفرق لو ما عرفت I still can do it and enjoy the smell. Yeah, okay, you're not going to die if you don't know the meaning. But when you know it, it's different. Yeah? عندنا وقت we can say all night long. I
think we're going to have to round up.
Yeah? Thank you guys. شكرا على being open, engaging, drawing questions for later from Instagram and WhatsApp Messenger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maya.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. We wanted to dedicate a few minutes to Rada. She has a pitch on her book club. We're going to give you a bit more than 30 seconds. If anyone else has an idea to pitch, please feel free to also let me know. After the pitch, inshallah, we'll be celebrating our 6th anniversary.
Thank you.
Well, I panicked when I saw 30 seconds. Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Ghalia AlMadani. Touching base on the topic of rituals, my day is never complete without a few pages. I love reading, so I have to read before I sleep. Who likes to read? MashaAllah, like half of us like to read. Perfect. So in 2014, I created the book club, and I've been running it for the past 10 years. The aim of this book club is to connect readers, diverse readers, and expand the culture of reading in our society. Started in Jeddah, and I recently moved to Riyadh with my family, and we're launching the new chapter of this book club next month, September 18th. The name of the book club, you can't put the slide on, right? Yeah. So the name of the book club is Al-Jalis. Al-Jalis Book Club is for everyone who loves reading, whether you are an avid reader or if you want to explore the new habit of reading, if you want to connect with like-minded people, a very supportive, inclusive, diverse community, people from all walks of life. As I said, the launch is next month, September 18th, and I really, really thank you guys for allowing me to talk about this passion project of mine. I've been running it for 10 years, and I've hosted about 400 events so far, and welcomed almost 2,000 readers from different backgrounds. And we also like to give the space for guest speakers, local authors. We really connect the world, even online, offline, diverse topics actually, fiction, non-fiction, self-development, business, you name it. So the launch topic is specifically the discussion delving in between fiction and non-fiction. So just a last question, who likes to read fiction? Okay, how about non-fiction? Yeah, I expected that. So in Al-Jalis we have a 50-50, like a calendar has different genre of books. Sometimes we talk fiction, sometimes we talk non-fiction, so it's a space for everybody. Thank you. And I gave my book club to you guys, if you can distribute it. And thank you so much.
Before we say goodbye, there's a sheet of paper. This is صح. The sheet of paper is surviving. صح? You still have it? طيب, we're gonna wrap up today with a pledge. Pledge. يعني pledge يعني وعد. It's like you see when two people get married, there's a contract. You're doing the same contract with yourself. So write on the paper, I pledge, or I recommend if you have the A4 paper, اقسموها نصين to have it small, بس حتى even smaller to have it يعني eventually to hang it on your mirror or في السيارة, something you want to see every day. I pledge to think about what is it that you want to start to introduce every single day as a ritual that makes you a better person. I pledge to start to whatever that is. To walk mindfully. To maybe understand why I do what I do. To make an effort every single day to back up myself with the information, the necessary information and knowledge about what I call ritual. If it's really healthy or helpful or not. So think about it and write your own pledge. And this is what you're going to take with you home and maybe remember us today.
Excuse me.
So before we say goodbye, after you write your pledge, we're going to do, I think, a group photo. So, Amina, did you put the one in the middle? Okay.
If you don't prefer to take a photo, you might need no pressure. Okay. بس يلا تروحون ترى يعني لسه في catering هنا فبليز join the celebration. يلا تطلعون.
Guys, would you like to join our photo?